Is Russia set to spark World War III? It was reported late last week that Russia has nearly finished building its biggest Arctic military base ever. And last Wednesday, Senator Heidi Heitkamp, she sent out a press release regarding a meeting she recently had with Colonel Rodney Lewis from the Grand Forks Air Force Base. Senator Heitkamp says she is looking to make the Grand Forks Air Force Base more attractive for Arctic missions. And I'm going to quote her here about now. She says, as the U.S. military focuses on emerging threats and opportunities in the Arctic. So how much of a threat is Russia as they finalize this massive new military base? With us tonight to analyze is NDSU poli-sci professor, also an author, an expert in Russian foreign policy, but also an author of the book Authoritarian Backlash, Russian Resistance to Democratization in the Former Soviet Union, Dr. Tom Ambrosio. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. So you see this, you see them finishing up their military base. It's on their own land. I'm not trying to defend Russia here, but the biggest Arctic base ever. Is this a spark for World War III? What's their goal here? Well,
I don't think it's really about World War III. I thought it was interesting, Senator Heitkamp's statement. The only other two countries in the Arctic other than us are Norway and Canada. So when she says threat, she means Russia. Russia is asserting itself, and we've seen this over the last decade. Russia is continuously asserting itself in the international system. And this goes back even to the 90s. But what Russia is trying to do is balance the United States. They see the United States as the biggest threat to them and to their interests. So things like putting a large military base in the Arctic is a way for them to assert their control over this area that may become economically important as well as a geopolitical crossroads if the Arctic caps begin to melt.
So my question to you, you see what happened obviously to Syria. You know, they're going after Syrian rebels, people that we've armed, which I think you could say is maybe a quasi-proxy war with us. If we can bring up this map, please, I want to share with you some of the places where this military base obviously is going to be at. But there is the quote-unquote island it's part of, is the blue dot. But it's Kotalini Island, Cape Schmidt, and Wrangel Island as well, which you can see. Cape Schmidt, only 320 miles off the coast of Alaska. Why is it important for Putin to have the giant Arctic base there?
Well, what we're having is that with the Arctic ice caps beginning to melt or recede, that more countries are thinking about ways to exploit that area, either for energy resources like oil or simply for transit. So what Russia is doing is basically claiming huge areas of the Arctic just in case they can use it later. And in fact, they had a couple of years ago a little mini sub go down and plant a flag actually in the Arctic on the ground to say this is ours. So
where at specifically?
It was around this area, probably a little further than what's in their territorial waters. And what is and what is not within territorial waters is governed by the Law of the Sea Treaty, but Russia's kind of playing a little fast and loose with some of those definitions. So Russia's trying to assert a larger claim than probably they should be allowed. And the reason why, again, they're doing this is just in case, but also it's a way to say we're back.
Well, and with that being said, this is what I want to find out from you. Are they starting to flex their muscles because they see that obviously we're weak? We saw Obama veto the militarization bill last week, last month, or I think it was in August, excuse me, when he was in Alaska. He now said it was Department of Interior, we're no longer going to search for oil, or we're going to make leases very difficult for oil companies in the Arctic. He talked about a red line in Syria. We did nothing. He annexed Crimea. We basically did nothing. Is Putin seeing our weakness as a possibility for him to go, okay, let's flex our muscle and see what happens?
Absolutely. The Russians have had a foreign policy going back centuries, but especially in the 20th century to today, that when they see weakness, when they see a vacuum, they will go into it. So they will push as far as they can. If they meet resistance, the Russians do tend to back down. We've seen this during the Cold War. We've seen it after the Cold War. But if they don't hit that resistance, they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So we're in a phase right now, I think, where Russia is just pushing to see what the limits are. And they annexed Crimea, but even going back to 2008, they went to war with Georgia and essentially de facto annexed parts of the Republic of Georgia, and we didn't do anything. And then fast forward to the Obama administration, the reset, now we're going to be friends, and then we have Crimea and Syria, and it's a continuous pattern of Russia pushing.
So my question to you is obviously they're poking the bear. What's it going to take to wake up the bear?
Well, I mean, in many ways, they're the bear, and we've poked them as they see it. that we have.
You don't see that that's the way it is right now.
No, but if you ask Putin, he would say the United States is to blame for all of this.
I
went
understand
into
that.
NATO.
You heard what Romney said about obviously Putin being the biggest threat. Obama says, hey, we want your 80s foreign policy back. My point is, though, so maybe we're not the bear, but what's it going to then take to wake up somebody to go, wait a second, this Putin guy means business?
Not in this administration. I don't think we're going to see
Why
it
not?
now. The Obama administration is not interested in starting conflict with Russia. We're not interested in asserting our power.
But I'm not saying we have to go to war.
Oh, no, no, neither
Reagan
am I.
said peace through strength. So what's it going to take for us to go, okay, wait a second, you want to continue to play these war games, look what we can do?
I think they would have to do something outrageous. Right, I mean, what we're seeing in Syria right now, we have supplied Syrian rebels, and they bombed them. And our reaction was nothing. So I think until 2017, we're not going to see any change, quite frankly, and maybe even after that.
One of the big things I want to get your comments on, because you talk about, so what's maybe a better term if I shouldn't call us the bear, what should I call us? Because they continue, I think, to test.
I mean, we are the great power,
Okay.
and they're seeing how far they can push and to see how we've declined.
So what I want to
overall.
get at with that is reports are coming out where Russian ships now are near data cables that are underneath the seas, which obviously transmit a ton of data. A lot of people are concerned because you're talking about economic data, that $10 trillion worth of economic info going through this data streams underneath the seas. Also recently, a Russian ship was off the coast of, not the country of Georgia, the state of Georgia, the United States, because they said they were on their way to Cuba. How you go from Russia by the state of Georgia to Cuba, I don't know. But my point is, how important is it, how big of a concern that these guys could potentially use these subs to go and cut these communication cables, and what would that ultimately do?
I think it's something that the Russians will keep in their back pocket if they ever need to try to potentially threaten us, or we would know that if we did come into some serious conflict with Russia, and no one's talking about a war, no one wants to go to that level, neither us nor the Russians. But if there's ever a conflict, that's an option that they can do. It's like during the Cold War. We'd fly bombers into their area, they'd fly bombers into our area. This is part of the game. This is part of the game of a Cold War. And we're not in a Cold War with Russia, but Russia's in a Cold War with us. They're thinking that mentality. And unless we realize that, we're not going to be able to counter Russia.
Quickly, though, because Russia's in Syria now they're doing this base, do they have the financial wherewithal to continue with what they're doing, considering where oil prices are at and the sanctions we've got in place on them?
They have a very limited range of possibilities now, and ultimately, though, the Russians are very, very good at punching above their weight class. So they've been always good at dealing with a weak hand and using their limited resources to challenge those who are more powerful than them. And ultimately, we are the more powerful of the two.
And as they strengthen the ally with China and Iran, who's going to get a bunch of money, I mean, who knows how that funding is going to come. So great to have you here. I really appreciate the time.
Well, thanks for having me.
Look forward to having you back, because obviously this isn't going to go away anytime soon. Stay with us when we come back. The UND nickname saga, one step closer to possibly being over. The head of the committee chair, Carl Gehring, joins us right after this.